Hey, it's the Follow Through Revelation edition. Yeah, we're looking at the book of Revelation. Today we're going to finish up chapter 13. We're going to start in verse 11 and boogie all the way to verse 18. I hope you're enjoying following along. A lot of questions. Please let me know in the comments or message me somehow if you have any questions about this. Again, there's a lot, and I'm not going to get to everything, right? We have sermons that we're doing on Sundays. We're also doing Bible studies, so a lot of different opportunities for you to grow in your faith and that's what this is all about, wanting you to do that. So that's why it's important to subscribe and to share this with the people in your life. Now, we've been looking at we had the dragon, right, who tried to attack, right? So Satan wants to attack Christ, right, because he doesn't want that victory over the grave to be won, right? The devil wants to continue to kill and wants to continue to separate us from God. But Jesus came and died and rose triumphantly, right? The mission's been accomplished. So see everything that you see in here from your security. Yesterday we talked about your name being written in the book of life. Right? Because outside of that security, it's outside of that being your identity, like you're just going to be fair game for the devil to entice you and to get you to follow this political beast. And today we're going to see there's a second one that comes out, and he is kind of like the religious beast, if you will. So you have the devil, he's got political people doing his thing, and now he also has religious people doing his thing. And the goal that you're going to see of this second beast is to worship the other ones. Right? So here it is. He sees another beast rising, this time not out of the ocean or the sea, but out of the earth. 2 horns like a lamb, spoke like a dragon. So you know what it is, right? We should be able to see it, right? Jesus said, "You'll know my voice," right? "My sheep know my voice and they follow me." How do we hear it? How do we know what his voice is? We look at Scripture. We see that he gave his life. He loves us. He sacrificed. He doesn't lie to us. He gives us the truth about life and about everything else. So that's how we hear. That's how we know who he is. Right? So this other beast exercises all the authority of the first one in its presence, and it makes the earth and its inhabitants, listen to this, worship the first beast, whose mortal wound was healed. Remember him? He had that, one of his heads had a mortal wound and it healed, and everyone was like, whoa, check that out. Right? Even though Jesus dies and rises, right, that doesn't excite anybody. He wins victory over death and the grave, but everybody's like, yeah, whatever. See, but this beast is all about being sensational and making a name for himself and all of that. And this other beast wants us to worship him. That other, not Jesus, but this beast. It gets so confusing. It gets crazy. And what it does is this beast is able to perform great signs, even making fire come down from heaven and to earth in front of people, right? So he shows off. Notice the signs aren't to help anybody. It's not about conveying truth. It's not about waking anybody up. It's not about any of those things. It's just about saying, hey, look at me, obey me. Don't question me. Big difference, right? Because everything Jesus did, all his miracles, all his displays of power, were not just to show off, right? Even when he shows his wrath, even when there's like crazy, incredible things that happen, it's to wake us up, to see that we failed, to see that we need him, and to see that he has given his life for us, and he heals us, and he helps us. So, but this thing's just showing off, right? In verse 14 it says, "And by the signs that it is allowed to work in the presence of the beast, it deceives those who dwell on earth, telling them to make an image of the beast that was wounded by the sword and yet lived. And it was allowed," I'm going to keep going, "to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast might even speak and might cause those who would not worship the image of the beast to be slain." So that's what these people were. I mean, they were literally up against this. Like, you could die for your faith. That's what this whole section is about, that we've been looking at. Like, they're going to threaten you with death, but hang in there. Keep the mission going, right? It looks like government and other things may want to shut us down. We live in an era of freedom for that, but that might change at any moment. And God's got us. He's going to say, keep going. again, you have this oppression, you have this where the people are marked on their hand, right here, and on their forehead. Really out front, very obvious places. You can't cover them up. If you notice, like my almost all of me is covered except my forehead. Even if I were to throw a hat on, my forehead and my back of my hand, still very obvious. Right, when you go to a concert, when we go to hockey games, they'll stamp our hand. And right, again, so it's because it's easy for people to see, and so it'll be easy for people to see who is for the beast and who is for God. Right, if you don't have that mark, right, if you don't sell out, if your life isn't about the beast, well, it's going to be hard to live. In fact, you might even get shut down. You might, again, cancel culture is not new. This is the original cancel culture. This is the original government and religious oppression right here. Right, this number of the beast, it's 666. Jesus, his number, remember, is perfection. 6 is imperfection tripled, right? You can think of it that way. Right? It falls short. However you want to work it. Others will try to, figure out, does this spell out Nero, or does it spell out something else? Or, that's just not helpful, because again, the point here is not a chip in you or anything. It's when you decide, I'm not going to worship Jesus, I'm going to worship this beast, I'm going to worship this government, I'm going to worship this leader. That's the mark of the beast. It's in an overt, hear me now, an overt, obvious, and really kind of a real, I'm drilling down, I'm doubling down, this is who I am. And you leave God, which is unthinkable. Which is why God says, don't take that mark. Don't do what they tell you to do if it's against God, if it's going to blaspheme God. Now again, it might be, it's difficult. This gets muddy because we could be talking about, freedom being taken away, and that's bad. Our freedoms as Americans, we want to fight for those. But even the more important thing than America is God and His kingdom. We want to be about that. And so anything that would pull me away from that, anything that would make me question that, or even cancel that or get rid of that, I'm going to fight it. I'm going to say no. I don't want it. I don't, do what you got to do, but I'm hanging in here. I'm sticking with God because He has stuck with me and will continue to stay with me to eternity. So let's stand together, folks. I hope that's what this verse, the chapters 12 and 13 help you to do. That, yeah, the threats are real, but His promise and His provision is perfect. Let's just focus on Him and hold on to Him as He holds on to us. Talk to you next time.